We studied 1,000 product demos from the biggest SaaS companies like Beehive, Lightspeed, and Lovable, all the way down to tiny bootstrap tools you've never heard of. And we did it to answer two simple questions. Are product demos really that profitable? And do they need to be a video? And we actually found one thing that goes against everything most founders still believe, because the demos that convert the best are not the prettiest or the most impressive ones. In fact, some of the worst performing demos we studied were beautiful, expensive, and completely useless because they were built to be watched instead of used. So in this video, I'm going to show you 7 things the highest converting SaaS demos have in common, backed by data from over 200,000 companies building demos, so you can stop guessing what good demos look like and just replicate what already works for your own SaaS. Let's get into it. So the first finding is honestly the biggest one because it splits every single demo we studied into 2 distinct groups. The first is demos to be watched, and the second is demos built to be used. And knowing which group your demo belongs to is likely the most important thing you can take away from this video, because it's the difference between a visitor evaluating your product and a visitor just watching an ad. Now, the watched group represents the animated explainers and the cinematic product videos, the ones that cost $3,000, $4,000, even $5,000 and take weeks to produce. Now, I know this firsthand because our team paid this amount of money for our recent launch video. The video looks incredible, but there's nothing to click in it. You sit there, you watch, and you're no closer to knowing what the product actually feels like to use. Then there's the used group. Look at what Lovable does. When you land on their site, within seconds, you're not watching a product video, you're actually in the product, talking to it, typing, clicking, and doing the thing. Now, Airtable and Notion also onboard users in this way. The companies growing the fastest right now keep doing this same thing. They don't make a sign-up form the first step, but they let them start playing with the product. Now, you might not be a Lovable, Airtable, or Notion, where you can let people jump into your product right away, but you might still want to give them the ability to interact with your product to see what it's like. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that. But before I jump into that, I want to share this resource with you. My team and I broke down the killer onboarding processes step by step for companies like Lovable, Airtable, and Notion, along with other product-led SaaS companies that are dominating their space. If you want to get people into your platform faster and activated, this is a great library of inspiration that you can steal for your own onboarding flow. You can find a link for it in the description. Okay, so you want to let people interact with your product so you can drive higher conversion and activation rates. Let me show you an example that might be more relevant for your use case. This is Beehive. They added an interactive demo next to their normal sign-up flow as a path for visitors who weren't ready to commit yet. And within 2 months of doing this, that one demo was driving thousands of signups and over $10,000 in self-serve revenue. And if you still need more proof that an interactive demo used in this way is powerful, let me point out that the people who came through Beehive's demo converted 50% better than anywhere else on their site. And that's because they'd already used the product and convinced themselves that it was right for them. Now let's jump back to the divide between video demos and interactive demos. Am I saying that video demos don't work? Not really. Video demos are great for marketing and social media or for ads. But once you capture their attention with a flashy video, interactive demos are the clincher because they can click through the main features of your product, further convincing themselves that they should just sign up. So the video captures their attention, and then the interactive demo closes that attention. Now I want to share another finding with you from our study. When we sorted all of these demos by completion rates, we expected that there would be some similarities, but the fact that so many of these demos came from different industries with different products and different styles, we thought that there wouldn't be a clear pattern to winning demos. But we did see a pattern, one that was undeniable. The demos that get 80% or more of viewers to the very end all do this. They run around 10 to 12 steps. There's one hotspot on each step, which is a small text box that directs their attention to something in the demo. And they keep every hotspot to 15 to 18 words. They follow one straight line from start to finish. And more than half of them have an AI voiceover that plays through the demo. Now, this isn't some magic formula, but it's a great checklist to see if you have a good demo. But now let's talk about length, because the advice you always hear is to keep it short, respect people's time, and cut everything you can, which is entirely wrong. But the data says something more specific. The demos hitting those 80% completion rates aren't the shortest ones. They sit at 10 to 12 steps, like I shared. A 4-step demo doesn't respect your time because you click through and you still have no idea what the product does. But conversely, a 20-step demo loses people long before the end because every extra step is another chance for the person to leave. 10 to 12 steps is the range where a visitor fully understands your product and still can finish it. So the question for your own demo isn't, how do I make this shorter? It should be, what are the 10 to 12 moments that make someone understand my product? Now, this next one is probably the easiest fix in the entire video because it doesn't touch your demo structure at all. It's just the words that you use. Most demos fill their hotspots with instructions. The top demos do the exact opposite. Every hotspot is a small sales pitch. You have 15 to 18 words that tells you exactly what you're getting. Things like send this list straight to your CRM so your team follows up while the lead is still hot. And you can test this yourself with your own demo by asking one question. Does this line in this hotspot sell the feature or just label it as a button? Now, the next finding might annoy some of the more sophisticated founders, but across the demos we studied, the straight line demos keep more people to the end than the demos that take you to multiple routes. And it makes sense because your visitors don't know your product yet. That's the whole reason they're in the demo. Now, branching works incredibly well in later parts of the journey, which is a story for another time, but on your website, in front of strangers who are looking at it for the first time, keep one path from start to finish. Now, our sixth finding genuinely surprised our team, because an interactive demo is supposed to be a thing you click at your own pace. But 54% of the top completing demos have an AI voiceover running on top of the clicks. Turns out a voiceover carries the viewer's attention between the steps, and it lets your demo work for the person who reads everything and the person who just skims, because they can still hear what's being said. Supademo integrates with 11 Labs, so it can generate, in a couple of clicks, your own voice. So if your demo is silent, you're losing half of the visitors. And finally, our last finding might be the most expensive mistake on the list, because it's where you put your best feature. Most founders structure their demos like a story. You build up, you add context, you save the impressive part for the end like a finale. But every step of a demo loses a slice of your audience. That's just how attention works. So whatever you put in step 11 is being seen by the smallest crowd of the entire demo. The winning demos put the aha moment at the front, or the feature that sells the product by itself inside of the first 3 or 4 steps while everyone is still watching. Now, there's a company that I used to work at called Instrumental that learned this the hard way. What their tool was an AI that found grant opportunities for nonprofits, and they did this in real time. Now, the moment when a prospect saw that it could do this, the product basically sold itself. But for the longest time, that specific feature wasn't anywhere near the front. Visitors would read about different features and they'd never encounter the thing that made the product special. So a lot of people left. So don't build to a finale, open with it. Ask yourself what the one moment is where a stranger goes, oh, I get it, and pull that moment into step 3. Everything after it exists to keep people around once the hook has already landed. Now, there's one more thing we found in those 1,000 demos that didn't make the list, because it's not about how demos are built. It's about how they die. A huge chunk of demos we studied were showing screenshots of products that don't look like that anymore. Things like old UI, renamed features, or missing buttons. Because the product kept shipping and the demo just sat there. And the founders that avoid this simply build their demos to be updated in a matter of minutes. So if you want to see how fast that actually is, we recorded ourselves building a complete interactive demo from nothing to live on a website in 5 minutes. You can watch it right here.